Today's the 17th of October, and I've been hunting that buck around my house that I'm calling the Big 7 since the 4th of October. So it's been almost 2 weeks that I've been hunting that one deer. Tonight I'm going to take a break. I'm going to hunt a different part of the farm, clear on the other end, get some fresh air and look at some fresh deer. But this kind of brings up the topic of how much can you hunt one deer before you've hunted him too much. It's the old debate of risk versus reward. And I tend, because I'm hunting on private land, to err on the side of being overly conservative. I usually don't push very hard unless I've got a clear advantage. And for me, a clear advantage is going to be the perfect wind and daylight photos of a buck. Then I feel like, okay, the odds are so much in my favor that it's worth taking a little bit more risk and going in a little bit deeper on this deer. Because you're not just going to maybe educate that one deer. You have the potential of educating the other deer in the herd also. He may not even come out, but still through the body language of the other deer, the non-target deer, the smaller bucks, the does, fawns, that gets transmitted through the herd. And you end up with some really uncomfortable deer in the area where you want them to be comfortable. You want them to be moving in daylight, or put it this way, you want them to be comfortable until that day when he makes a mistake and you're there to take advantage of it. The real art of deer hunting is knowing when to push and when to back off. I tend to err toward backing off. Like I said, I'll wait, monitor my cameras, hunt the fringes, stay out of what I think is that deer's core area, hoping to pick him up along the edges until the time is perfect. And the rest of the guys that have been hunting consistently now, Caleb and Taylor Byers and Owen Reigler, they also are going to weigh in on this whole conversation of risk versus reward.
Alright guys, we're back at it again, October 16th. It's warmed up quite a bit today. Yesterday was like 45 for a high and today's about 60. So, not sure if that's going to deter movement, but we're hunting the same blind we hunted yesterday and we didn't see a single deer, but I'm not deterred because I'm hunting one deer. So we only need to see one deer and we got to hunt where he lives. So, that's why we're here. I did not plan on hunting here again today because I normally this time of year will not hunt same blind 2 days in a row. I like to give him a break in between, but we think that he's on like a 4 or 5 day pattern. It's a little unusual, but I've seen that before in broken farm country where there's a lot of little wood lots and little patches of cover. I've seen that before where your target buck is there every 3 or 4 days or 5 days. It almost seems like they rotate wood lots. And then 3 or 4 days go by and then they're back in your little section of timber or whatever. That's what the last few weeks have showed now. Is that a coincidence or is it a pattern? I just had to come back and find out, so that's why I'm back here. Today I went over and checked some cams where that Flyers buck is living, and he's nowhere to be found on any of the cameras. And this is about 5 weeks now, so I probably will not hunt that buck again until I get pictures of him. I figure he's just moved off. There's a gigantic 8 in there that I call Grandpa. He's been on the rubbing post here recently, and he's a very big-bodied deer, and I wonder if maybe he pushed that Flyers buck out of there. I don't know that that's a fact, but it's very possible. So that might be a deer we will target and try and take out of there for future. But there's another buck in there that we call Blades that we had on some of the cameras, also some daylight footage even. And we're going to probably do a setup tomorrow morning on him. If we can find a tree to get in, we're going to go pop up a double set that we'll come back and hunt in about 4 or 5 days. As soon as I get wrapped up, I've got to build a swimming pool, but as soon as I can get away, we may go hunt that buck. So stay tuned. We'll see how that setup works out and see if we can get on that deer. And we're just going to sit in here and see what happens. I don't expect to see a lot of deer, but I'm hoping that I see the right one. You know, if we're gonna kill him, it's gonna have to be where he's living, but right now it's like watching paint dry, I'm not gonna lie. We'll give this spot a little rest. Well guys, we got about 20 minutes left here. We had a neighbor drive in, sounded like he was fixing a waterway or something, so he just left, so there's still a little bit of time. If we see anything, we'll definitely show it to you, but I've got to go build a swimming pool, so I'm going to be out for a few days. But we'll get a game plan when we come back. Hopefully the weather cools back down. It's going to be warm the rest of this week, but we'll see what it's like here at the end of the week, and hopefully we can make it back out.
Well, it's October 17th this evening, and we're early muzzleloader hunting, and we're back on the clover plot. We're after a couple different bucks. We're after Louisiana, who we've already had an encounter with earlier this season, and a buck we call Magnet, who absolutely followed us all over the farm last year. That's kind of how we got his name. Unfortunately, we haven't caught up to him yet this season.
He's not a magnet this year.
No, hopefully maybe tonight. With this weather's absolutely perfect today. The pressure's through the roof. Just a bluebird, perfect October day, and hopefully we can get it done tonight. Well, it's October 18th this morning, and we're actually doing something a little different. We don't typically hunt in the morning until later in October, but it should be a really good sit. The pressure's high, the temperature's super low. Nonetheless, an awesome view, and just awesome to be out here this morning. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up this morning. Not a lot of deer movement, but you know, that's kind of what we expected. They don't tend to get too far away from their beds this time of year, so we knew if we were going to have something happen this morning, it was going to be right off the bat. But nonetheless, an awesome hunt. It's just awesome to see a nice mature buck up on his feet in daylight. So we have a couple other things to get done this morning, but we're going to be right back after it this afternoon and then this evening, so we'll see you back in the stand. Well, it's October 18th today, and we're really thinking that today could be the day. Well, this is the first day that we actually have a really good wind. Weather's perfect, pressure's high, and we've had a couple frosts the last couple days, and after that, the deer have really been hitting these beans, and you know, we've had really good luck in the past. This is the Switcharoo stand. It's been very generous to us the last 2 years, so hopefully it's my turn this year and we can get it done. I have the smoke pole in hand, and like I said, it's October 18th. Typically that's not like a high odds day, but I've been muzzleloader hunting for, I think this is the 6th year now, and I've shot 2 of my 4 bucks on October 18th, so hopefully this is lucky number 3 tonight. Well, it's about 5:45 right now, and it's been an absolute ghost town in here, but it's kind of what we expected. It's a little warmer today, but you can really feel that cool breeze start to kick in, and hopefully the movement starts to pick up within the next 20 minutes or so. Fingers crossed still.
I hear something on this side.
Guys, stick out like a sore thumb. Wow, that was pretty tough to watch those does just walk right by. This early muzzleloader season is only 9 days long, so we're pretty much just strictly buck hunting. Even though that was really tempting. But
if we had our bow.
Yeah, if we had our bow, it'd be a whole nother story. buck behind it. Big buck behind it.
Oh yeah, giant. It's that buck you had last year that didn't come across the river. Take your time.
Okay. My heart is beating so fast. I don't even know where I'm gonna stop this buck at.
Pick out your spot.
That's what I'm trying to do. Probably right there.
I can't see you.
He's standing behind those trees. He's still there. He's just watching. There he goes. Oh. I'm shaking so bad. Okay, you just stay on him, okay?
Just went down. Oh my god, yes! Congratulations, that is a freaking giant tail.
Oh my gosh.
You almost killed him last year.
I'm shaking so bad. Oh my gosh. What is that? 25, 30 yards?
He was in bow range, that's for sure.
And that's exactly what this stand is set up for. It's
Yeah,
not,
we are not set up for a muzzler.
we're barely set up for a bow. I mean, that's the switcheroos happened twice because this stand is, this tree is so hard. This area is just so hard to hunt. I mean, the wind can swirl in here. We're on the front of a big bluff. It's just, oh my god, I'm pumped.
It was like a bow kill though.
It was exactly
so
like,
long.
and he came in following a doe. I mean, it is.
My heart was freaking pounding.
It's October 18th. I mean, you were right. I did that last interview, and we said in about 20 minutes or so, you know, it should really pick up in here, and it did, like on a dime. I mean, we heard does across the creek, up here a ways. We had 4 does walk within 5 steps of the tree, and then all of a sudden, kind of heard some running around back here, and looked up. There was a doe. Well, I couldn't tell if it was a doe or a small buck. Sometimes those small bucks get a little antsy and like to run around, and that's kind of what I assumed it was. And then Caleb's like, "Well, just keep looking behind." And yeah, sure enough, he came stepping out, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. That's awesome. I'm so pumped he didn't go.
50 yards.
Yeah, powered up.
Congratulations, that is
I'm
a
pumped.
stud.
Oh my gosh. Can't wait to get down and go check him out. This is awesome. Hopefully our season continues in this direction.
Great shot.
Thank you.
Wow.
Well, we just climbed down. We're at the base of the tree, and you know, after the season I had last year, the fact that we're about to walk up on this deer right now is a feeling like you wouldn't believe. It's like shooting my first deer all over again. I'm ecstatic at this point.
Should we go over?
Oh, we're still recording.
That was for a trail camera, by the way.
Good grief. What did we just do? Oh my god. Wow. Well, obviously we just got to him, and I am so pumped. This is awesome, awesome deer. But it's getting pretty dark out. As you can hear, after my shot, there was just coyotes howling everywhere. I'm so shook I can't talk. We're gonna get him drug out of here, cleaned up, and we're gonna come back out tomorrow morning and give you a better look and give you a little better interview. Thank you.
You see anything, Hugs? You did shoot this one.
What is it?
You shot that way.
So just a surreal feeling. I mean, you know when you go into a spot and you're just like, okay, today is the day it's gonna happen. You don't actually think it's gonna happen. It's not your typical early season spot. I mean, we were in a tree stand. It's a bow spot, but you know, we were looking at the weather, we were looking at the pressure, and you know, different things that we've seen that the deer have been doing. They've kind of moved on to the beans since we've had these last couple frosts, and we kind of put that into play, and it does butt up into a little bit of timber, and so that we know that there's acorns around, and it worked for us, and we couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, and like I told her, I feel like we kind of cheated the system. It felt like a rut hunt for an early muzzleloader hunt, and I mean, you can't beat that when you have all the scenarios where it felt like a rut hunt. We had tons of does come out, and then you could just feel when it got right. You never could. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat. You didn't know what was going to come around the corner next. And when the doe came through and started looking back, I just had that feeling. You know, I was like, it could be a fawn, or I was just like, you know, keep an eye on what's behind her, because I know something is. And sure enough, she's like, oh my gosh, big buck. So, but where the corner of this stand is set up, everything kind of funnels right to where our stand is, and that's why, you know, we've seen we've killed a buck out of it the last 3 years, and you know, there's really no doubt in my mind he probably would have came by the stand last year if he would have made it with enough light. One of the reasons we waited until we did to get aggressive with this spot, you know, there were several days we wanted to come to this spot and hunt. You know, we've had some south winds along the way. Anytime you are getting the south wind, you know you're thinking a lot higher temps, and it was quite a bit higher temps yesterday than the day before, but we wanted to wait until we had several norths and then followed by a south. Anytime you get several norths in a row followed by a south, you always have way better deer movement, and then coinciding with pressure at 30.4, I mean, it was a no-brainer. So we looked at each other and actually took a vacation day yesterday, just because we had that feeling that it was going to be the day.
It's one of those feelings you can't get rid of, you can't get enough of, and that's what last night's hunt was. It was just everything you put into all the off season, it coming together, and we just couldn't be more excited.
Hey guys, it's Sunday, October 21st, and Cooper and I are all set up for the afternoon hunt. I'm fresh back from an elk hunt in Colorado. Me and a buddy did a self-guided horseback hunt up in a wilderness area, and I was able to, lucky enough to get a nice 5x5. And I got back yesterday morning at 3 a.m. Took the morning hunt off, but this is my third hunt since I've been back. And I just wanted to give you guys a little update about what's been going on. Last night I went out to the farm that my wife killed on last year, the farm I helped manage right outside of the town I live in. And the conditions were favorable. We had a nice high pressure cold front coming through. And so Cooper and I went getting a redneck blind due to the high winds. It was 40+ mile-an-hour winds. And we had a great hunt. We saw a couple mature bucks, nudging does around, 15+ deer on the evening. Just a really enjoyable hunt. And then after the hunt I pulled 4 cards got home, checked the cards, and had a mature buck that I've had history with now for 4 years. It's a buck I call 8 Ball, and he's daylight active on October 5th, October 15th, and October 18th. And he's a 7.5-year-old or older buck, just not a huge rack, but a very nice buck, respectable buck, heavy mass, just gnarly old buck. And so with the theme this week, or as we've talked about earlier in the show, risk first reward, is quite appropriate with this cold front to talk about that, because these are sort of the ideal conditions in my mind to take risks. And so this morning, with that fresh information, Cooper and I pushed into the timber a little ways, into the bedding area. The temperature was 28 degrees, and we went in after that buck. It didn't work out. We had a great hunt. We saw, again, 15 to 20 deer, lots of deer movement every 10 to 15 minutes. And, you know, those are sort of the conditions I think of as when we should take risk. You start at the end of October, right before the pre-rut, or right getting into that early pre-rut. And sometimes it works out, similar to how Caleb and Taylor went in and into one of their better spots with the favorable conditions and got obviously a great buck out of that. So tonight it's a little windier than I thought. It's you know, we're getting some pretty nice gusts here, up to 20 miles per hour, but it's supposed to die down the last hour. It's a southwest wind. It's about 50 degrees, and I actually switched farms. This is a farm that was new to me last year. I put cameras on it. I never hunted it. I checked cameras around Christmas time, and had a lot of really great bucks out here. And so I want to hunt it a little more this year, and I decided to come out here tonight and give it a try. So what my hope is, these deer are going to feed out this evening, the feed and the beans, and some of these bucks are going to come work the scrape line on this edge. I have not run cameras out here yet this year. I've been just crazy busy and haven't had the chance, but this area is known for good bucks, and with any luck, one of them will show up tonight. We're down to our last 20 minutes, and the deer movement's just starting to pick up. We've seen 6 does and fawns total, so overall pretty slow night. I'm going to take this opportunity to close out the hunt. Moving forward, for me, since I've took the last week and a half off for elk hunting, I'm gonna actually work this week. I might get out one afternoon or two, but after that I'm taking 2 to 3 vacation days for the following 3 weeks. So we'll be spending a lot of time in a tree and hoping to catch up to some of these bigger bucks. And we'll just be bringing that to you guys as it comes along. So good luck to those of you who are getting out, and thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail.